Spacenow helps companies both rent out and hire any type of space and meet demand for flexible, short-term leases. To learn more, we're now joined by co-founder and CEO Daniel Gunning. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here, Daniel. Interesting times, especially if you're in the office space business. Take us through what the last 6 months has been like for you, and also about Spacenow and how it works.
Sure. Certainly the last 6 months has, we've had a bit of a evolution on remote working. Certainly through COVID, a lot of businesses that probably didn't think they ever wanted to adopt or trial remote working were forced to. And it's probably been, for a lot of business, surprisingly successful. I think a lot of people have seen productivity remain strong. We've seen the workforce probably feel more empowered. People are working, having more control over their day. We're now sort of transitioning into a time where probably coming into what we're calling like a hybrid time, where there's still that necessity to get together and collaborate as an office. I think that culture and is difficult to maintain through a Zoom meeting, even though we've seen it all try with Zoom parties and hat parties, all sorts of things going on. So now we're into a period where people are working out what the workplace is. Is it a place where you just come and put your bag down and you work from, or is it a place to come together and collaborate? So that's where the workforce is at, or the office market is at the moment.
And Daniel, at what stage was your business at when the pandemic hit? Because it sounds like it's really shaken up your market and presented a major opportunity for you.
Absolutely. Look, we started working with this. I think we started, our first listing was back in 2017. Okay. Originally, we saw a gap. It was probably traditionally known as a sublease market, but more at the smaller end of the market. So you've got businesses you've always had businesses scaling up and scaling down due to market forces or changes, technology changes. A lot of people were caught with extra space, or you had startup businesses looking to get into a space but didn't want to commit to a long-term lease, didn't know how long or what their business was, how it was going to pan out. So we saw a gap there. Obviously we saw the evolution of the co-working market, which really started to fill in that gap. We got on board, worked with those groups. Since then, we've expanded into other categories. So we've taken the share economy or the flexible, not only into the office, but into meeting rooms. We're doing ghost kitchens, we're doing event spaces, and we're also doing creative spaces as well.
And where are you seeing the biggest demand at this point for you?
Look, we're definitely seeing a bit of a push out of the CBD. I think people are starting, or businesses are looking at potentially having satellite locations a bit closer to home. We still know that there's restrictions in place. Public transport's probably been a big one. So a lot of companies probably have decided not to bring their workforce back into the city because most people don't live in the city. Most people live, in the suburbs, so it's probably not efficient to try and bring them in on a reduced number. So we're seeing growth in the suburbs, but I think we're starting to see people come back into the city. But the big thing is the change of the workspace. I think the less formality, it's more becoming a collaborative space than just a place, as I said, to come in and sit down and work and spend your day.
Vacancies have risen in the Sydney CBD. Is this something that you're expecting will continue longer term? It's not just a blip that we're going to see this year.
Hopefully not. I mean, look, I think, but I guess we've got stimulus in at the moment. A lot of people are anticipating when JobKeeper comes off, there might be some job reduction, job losses. Companies might start to look at the actual size of the space they require and might shrink that. So, look, it would seem like there could be, but there also could be other opportunities where some companies might come in and start to collaborate a lot more and share spaces. So it's going to be an interesting time ahead. Yeah.
Now, I do want to pick you up on the ghost kitchens because it is a fascinating trend. Are you seeing these from the restaurants themselves, or are we talking about the delivery platforms who are building their own brands around whatever style of food it is and then putting in these kitchens to deliver for them?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Originally, so here in Australia, I guess the online, I think it's more seen as a secondary. It was originally seen as a secondary. You couldn't get your best restaurant's food online. Obviously, due to COVID, everyone had to pivot and go to delivery. A lot of businesses have now built up a strong delivery and wanting to continue that. Definitely overseas in markets like America, the ghost kitchen where it's quite prominent. There are people out there building specific kitchens for this. So look, what's a ghost kitchen? Effectively, it's what a commercial kitchen used to be, but people are now using it to just sell directly to online. So it's a little bit of a newer phrase, but it's a different type of similar use to what's been used before.
Daniel, with the demand that you've seen this year in your business, has it sped up some of your growth plans, and are you looking for extra funding anytime soon?
It's definitely sped up our growth. I mean, we've seen, in terms of increase of listings, we're seeing about 200% month on month. You know, we've seen the conversations changed. I think before our occupancy rate was very low. People didn't really have to look at the way that they utilised space. People also were very happy with the way they were working. So now that's changed. So we're seeing people wanting to put space on with us. They're looking at other ways to maybe derive some extra income because, you know, there's definitely going to be holes in the market where they can't actually generate the income from before.
Daniel Gunning from Spacenow, great to have you on today. Thanks for your time and your insights into the property market. It's very interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Thanks, Daniel.